We often think we are living, when in reality we are merely delaying. We tell ourselves that we will pursue our dream when the time is right, that we will apologize later, but the time is never right, because life does not wait for us. Seneca chastised those who spend their lives in preparing to live. A wise life begins now, not tomorrow, not next year. If you wish to live more fully, stop assuming there will be more time, and act as though each day were a gift entrusted to you, fragile and fleeting. Living wisely also means confronting our mortality, not to cultivate despair, but to free us from illusion. Death is not an enemy to be feared, but a teacher to be heeded. When you remember that you will not be here forever, arguments over petty insults lose their grip. When you recall that your days are numbered, the pressure to impress strangers on the internet becomes absurd. Awareness of death clarifies what truly matters: love, kindness, integrity, presence. To meditate on mortality is not morbid, it is liberating. It pulls us out of the fog of trivial concerns and redirects us toward what is worthy of our limited time. Consider how often we waste life in worry. We fret about outcomes we cannot control, about the opinions of others, about hypothetical scenarios that may never come. Epictetus advised us to focus only on what lies within our control: our thoughts, our choices, our actions. Everything else belongs to the realm of fortune, beyond our command. If you wish to live wisely, stop surrendering your short life to anxieties over what you cannot change. Instead, invest your energy where it counts, in how you respond, how you choose, how you show up in the present moment.
Life is shorter than we dare to admit. We often live as if we have an endless supply of days, as though tomorrow is guaranteed, as though we will always have time later to say what must be said, to pursue what we desire, to become who we hope to be. Yet the Stoics remind us with a sobering clarity: time is the only true possession we have, and once it slips away, no fortune, no power, no pleading can bring it back. Seneca wrote that it is not that we have a short life, but that we waste much of it. The question then is not how many years we are given, but how we choose to use the ones that are already in our hands. To live wisely is to live with the awareness that the clock is always ticking. The tragedy is not in death itself. Death is natural, inevitable, part of the order of things. The tragedy lies in living as though life were endless, in sleepwalking through our days, postponing joy, neglecting love, chasing after things that add little meaning. We hurry, we consume, we distract ourselves endlessly. But do we truly live? Marcus Aurelius, emperor and philosopher, reminded himself daily of this truth. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. If one lives with this awareness, every conversation, every action, every choice carries a weight and urgency that cuts through the trivial. But how does one actually live wisely in a short life? First, by learning to distinguish between what is essential and what is merely noise. We are bombarded by demands, by the expectations of others, by the endless voices of culture that tell us what we should value. Success, wealth, status, possessions, all these things may have their place, but they are not the core of a good life. The Stoics argue that virtue, the cultivation of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, is the true measure of a life well lived. For when you strip everything else away, what remains is your character. The car you drive, the followers you collect, the titles on your resume, all fade. But the person you become, the way you treat others, the steadiness of your soul in the face of hardship, these endure. The Stoics would also remind us to live in accordance with nature, not merely the external world, but our own nature as rational and social beings. To live wisely is to fulfill our role as humans, to use reason to guide our choices, to act with justice toward others, to contribute to the greater whole. When you live for mere pleasure or selfish gain, your life shrinks. When you live with purpose and service, your life expands, no matter how short it may be. Ultimately, the shortness of life is not a curse, but a call. If life were endless, we would take it for granted. It is precisely its brevity that gives it urgency and beauty. The falling leaf, the fleeting sunset, the passing season, all remind us of life's transience. But rather than despair, we can let this truth inspire us to live with greater depth. Every day is a page in a story that will not last forever. The question is, what kind of story will it be? To live wisely, then, is not to stretch life endlessly, but to fill it meaningfully. It is to wake each morning with the knowledge that the day ahead is not owed to us, but gifted. It is to speak words of kindness while there is still time, to forgive while we can, to love without delay. It is to practice virtue, to embrace simplicity, to endure hardship with courage, to meet death without fear. Life is short, yes, but shortness does not diminish its value. It magnifies it. As Seneca wrote, life is long if you know how to use it. And so the question remains not how many years we have, but how we will live the ones we do. Will we spend them in distraction, in regret, in pursuit of illusions? Or will we live them wisely, awake to the preciousness of each moment, grounded in virtue, rich in gratitude, present to love? The choice is ours, but the time is not infinite. The sands continue to fall. The wise learn to cherish them before the last grain slips through. Wisdom also lies in embracing simplicity. The modern world convinces us that happiness lies in accumulation, more possessions, more achievements, more recognition. But the Stoics teach the opposite. Contentment arises from needing less, not more. When you realize that you already possess everything you need to live well, your mind, your capacity for virtue, the present moment, you become less enslaved to endless desires. Simplicity frees you from the exhausting chase for what never truly satisfies. It opens space for gratitude, for presence, for peace. Living wisely does not mean avoiding hardship, for no life is free of suffering. Illness, loss, betrayal, failure, all will find us eventually. But the Stoics teach that adversity is not an interruption of life, but an essential part of it. To live well is not to seek comfort, but to cultivate resilience. Every challenge is an opportunity to practice strength, patience, and courage. Marcus Aurelius likened obstacles to a fire. Throw more wood on it, and it only burns brighter. Your struggles can consume you, or they can forge you into someone stronger. The choice is yours. If life is short, then gratitude must be one of our guiding practices. How often do we rush through our days without pausing to notice their beauty? The taste of a simple meal, the warmth of sunlight on skin, the sound of laughter. These are not small things, they are life itself. Gratitude is not naive optimism. It is a sober recognition that everything you have could be gone tomorrow. To give thanks daily is to honor the gift of being alive, however brief that gift may be.
Another enemy of a wise life is distraction. Our age offers infinite ways to escape boredom, to numb discomfort, to avoid silence. But every hour lost to mindless scrolling, every day consumed by empty busyness, is an hour stolen from your one and only life. Ask yourself, will I look back on this with gratitude, or will I regret the countless hours I let dissolve into nothing? To live wisely is not to avoid leisure, but to choose it intentionally. Reading, reflecting, walking, deep conversations, these nourish the soul. Distraction, on the other hand, drains it. The Stoics encourage us to reclaim our attention, for attention is the currency of life itself. To live wisely is also to cultivate relationships that matter. No one on their deathbed regrets not spending more time in the office or obsessing over trivial ambitions. They regret the moments of love unspoken, the time not spent with family, the friendships left unattended. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself not only of his own mortality, but also of the mortality of everyone around him. You will soon be dead, and so will they. This awareness should not make us withdraw, but rather should deepen our sense of gratitude for the people who share our brief span of existence. Every hug, every laugh, every shared silence is a treasure that will one day vanish. To live wisely is to savor them now, before they are gone.